that doesn't seem old to you guys.
No.
Does anybody in here like to ice skate?
I think.
Yeah? Okay, cool. So I always start out talking a little bit about myself. I grew up in Colorado, here's where Colorado is.
Yeah.
And I grew up ice skating. And I grew up playing hockey, so hockey's one of the things I love to do. And I wish I could do it more. You guys got Ontario Reign here, so you guys ever go see them? No? Okay, anybody? Alright. That's cool. I also like to write poetry. I also like to do creative things. I have a podcast on mental health, and I like to make videos as well. So, I had always grown up with a lot of love and support in my life. As early as I can remember, I had a lot of success around people. I was a very creative kid and highly energetic, kind of ADD probably. And the people around me often saw that. My parents were really great parents in a lot of ways, but they had a lot of issues in their marriage that brought a lot of stress to myself and my sister. My dad was an alcoholic and had a lot of issues with anger and yelling. My mom as a career was a flight attendant, so she wasn't always home, so that was hard. When I wasn't thriving around people and feeling successful around people, like I had talked about, I was feeling a lot of fear and loneliness and unsure of what to do with it and where to put it. So when I was 21 years old, I went to college when I was 18, and I went to this really kind of hyper-spiritual Bible college, and I was studying God, taking my faith seriously. And it was really good for my faith, but it was really bad for my body. I had this like all-night graveyard shift, what I was trying to do with my life at that time. But when I was 21, like the end of beginning of my third year of school, I had my first mental breakdown. I had a panic attack. If you guys know what a panic attack is, where your like whole body is like racing and you're like shaking. And that panic attack led me to losing sleep, and one night of sleeplessness led to a whole week of not sleeping, I didn't sleep for a month. So just this really kind of crazy event that happened. So this led me to receiving a bipolar diagnosis and seeing a doctor. And I knew that I needed medication, probably is what was needed, but I wasn't fully accepting that I did need medicine. And so this led me down a whole path of having conversations with doctors, and I ended up getting put on medication for a year, and then the same exact breakdown where I started having the panic attack and losing sleep happened a year later. Then I ended up getting on medicine again, and I was medicated for 4 years, and I seemingly did fine. I worked a full-time job, and I was able to function, but I kind of was over-medicated. So then, like any good bipolar person does, bipolar was a diagnosis that I got, by the way. I got off all of that medication, and then I spiraled into the worst episode that I had ever had. I had 8 months straight of being suicidal every single day, and the effects of getting off all the medicine really led me down this really dark and hard place. And so in this really hard time that I was in, it felt like every night was tossing and turning, just trying to find relief. I had so much anxiety, so much thought, so much feeling that I wasn't in control of myself. And I was very suicidal, so I tried to suicide 2 different times, and this led me to going to the hospital 2 different times. And then I came to a place that I hope no one in here would ever have to come to. I tried to overdose myself with all of the medicine that I had, and I tried to cut my wrist and just in hopes to suicide. And I ended up in a coma, and I was in a coma for 3 days. And in this time, I had my friends from out of state flying to see me here in California. And I had a lot of people praying for me, lots of prayer from a local church in Pomona, which is how I ended up moving to Pomona later on. And I ended up coming out of the coma and without any brain damage or memory loss. So I'm a suicide survivor. I survived. And, but that was not the end for me, that was the beginning. So after the coma, I spent 5 months in the hospital. I went to 2 different hospitals in a 5-month period of time. And I really started to kind of get perspective on 6 different things. And the first perspective I got was medicine. I realized that I kind of had told you earlier, medicine was something that I tried to get myself off of and I didn't like being on. And I was sort of, what I had learned was that I was over-medicated. And part of being on medicine is working with doctors and trying to find the right mix that works for you. So I just started to discover in this time that I need to accept the fact that I have bipolar and that I need medication, and I need medication to function. So that was the first thing. The second thing was that I never really did any therapy before in those hard times that I was having in my life. I probably would have benefited from therapy a lot earlier on in life. And therapy started to teach me how to confront my issues with my parents. I had a lot of issues with my dad. I'm sure you guys in here have issues with your parents. But therapy started to teach me how to forgive and how to let go and how to really confront just certain issues that I was having and kind of hanging above their head. The third area was my physical health. I had really valued exercise, like I talked about earlier, playing hockey. I did a marathon in June, so yay for me, I did a marathon. And I can't run now to save my life for more than like 2 minutes. So I lost all of the training credentials. But just having exercise in my life has played a huge part. The fourth area has been having like a balanced faith and perspective on the fact that I believe in Christianity and I believe in God, but part of my faith was hindering me, and I needed to find a place to balance those 2 things together. The fifth area is community. I have found a lot of hope in having friends. You guys probably have good friendships in here, I hope, or you have at least one person in your life that really believes in you. I found that having friendships and community and relationships has really helped me stay balanced, and having people that really believe in the things that I'm doing and believe in me as a person, that has helped me stay balanced. And the last area has just been balance overall, is that I kind of need all 6 of these things that I'm talking about, doctors and therapy and physical health, to all kind of work together and help me in my recovery. So what's next for me? Where am I at now in my life? I talked about some stuff that was me 6 years ago, and that was 2013, but where am I at in 2020? Well, I have a huge passion and desire to help people with mental illness, and to do what I'm doing right now, to share my story, to educate, to get the message out, to inspire. So I have a huge passion to do that. I plan on writing a book, so you guys can be in my book if you want. Anyway, you guys are all quiet now after your pizza. And so I plan on writing a book. I have a podcast where I talk about mental health and various issues of my faith and what it's like to be a bipolar person. And I'm just, I'm pretty normal. I'm just living with this illness, trying to figure it out just like everybody else. And lastly, I just seek to work on my relationships with people. I have 2 nephews. I have a 3rd nephew that was just born last month, a little new baby boy. So I have 3 nephews now. And just having family in my life has helped me keep a perspective of just childlike faith, and just has kept me balanced and in check with myself. And overall, I just in pursuit of just trying to have balance in my life. Just not overdoing certain things, not underdoing certain things. Anyway, but thanks for letting me share my story with you guys today. That's it.